If your portrait looks wrong in the first few minutes, please do not panic. Take this drawing for example. When I started blocking in the head, it honestly did not look like the reference at all. To be honest, I even had a moment where I wanted to stop right away, because the sketch felt so far away from the photo. But that does not mean the drawing failed. That is actually a very normal beginning in real portrait drawing. In this lesson, I want to show you not a perfect speed drawing, but how a portrait is built, corrected, and slowly brought closer to the reference. So if you are a beginner, stay with me. Do not judge your sketch too early. The first goal is not beauty. The first goal is control. At the beginning, I am using very light lines because I want the drawing to stay flexible. This is one of the most important habits for beginners. If you press too hard too early, every mistake becomes harder to fix, and you start fighting the paper instead of observing the reference. Right now, I am only looking for the large shape of the head. I am checking the height, the width, the tilt, and where the chin will sit. I am not worried about eyelashes, skin texture, or small details yet. Those things come much later. A portrait usually fails because the big structure is wrong, not because the small details are missing. So your first anchor is simple: head shape first, details later. If the head shape is not working, slow down and adjust it before moving on. Now I begin placing the guidelines. These lines are not there to make the drawing look technical. They are there to stop me from guessing. The center line tells me which way the face is turning. The horizontal lines help me compare the brow, the eyes, the nose, the mouth, and the chin. If you are drawing along, this is where you should ask: is the face leaning the same way as the reference? Is the eye line too high or too low? Is the chin too long? These questions matter more than trying to make one beautiful line. Beginners often want the drawing to look good immediately, but construction is not supposed to look pretty. It is supposed to give you a map. Once the map is clear, the portrait becomes much easier to control. This is the stage where many people start to feel disappointed. The portrait may look strange. The proportions may feel unstable. Maybe the face does not look like the person yet. That does not mean the drawing is broken. It only means the structure is still being built. I want you to notice how I keep comparing instead of rushing. I compare the side of the face, the jaw direction, the distance from the brow to the nose, and the space from the mouth to the chin. The pain point here is impatience. Most beginner drawings are not ruined by lack of talent. They are ruined because the artist gives up before the correction stage begins. Stay light, keep comparing, and allow the drawing to improve gradually. Now the eyes and eyebrows start to become stronger. This area is very important because it carries the expression, but I still do not treat it as decoration. I am looking for the eye sockets first, where the brow pushes forward, where the eye sits under it, and how the shadow wraps around the form. A common mistake is drawing the eyes like flat symbols. Two almond shapes, two dark circles, and then moving on. But in a portrait, the eyes sit inside the skull. So the anchor here is the eye socket, not the eyeball. Compare both eyes together. Check their angle. Check the distance between them. If one eye looks good but the face feels wrong, do not protect that eye too much. Adjust it if the structure needs it. When I move into the nose, I am thinking about planes, not outlines. The nose has a bridge, a front plane, a bottom plane, and small side planes around the nostrils. If you only draw the outside edge, the nose will look flat. So I look for value changes, where the light hits, where the shadow begins, and where the nostril becomes a darker accent. For beginners, the nose can feel confusing because there are not many hard lines. That is why you should use shadow shapes as your guide. Do not ask, "How do I draw a nose?" Ask, "Where is the light plane, and where is the shadow plane?" That question will make your drawing much more solid. Now the drawing begins to feel more solid because I am organizing the values. Values mean the light and dark relationships in the portrait. This is where many beginner drawings become muddy, because everything gets shaded with the same pressure. Try not to shade the whole face evenly. Instead, separate the light family from the shadow family. Look for the strongest dark accents, eyebrows, pupils, nostrils, mouth corners, and the shadow under the jaw. These dark notes help the viewer understand the structure. But do not make every line equally dark. If everything is important, nothing is important. Use dark marks carefully, like punctuation. They should guide the eye, not cover the drawing. When I work on the headband and hair area, I still think in big groups. Hair is a common trap for beginners. It is easy to start drawing every strand, but that usually makes the portrait noisy and weak. The better approach is to see the big silhouette first. Where is the outside shape of the hair? Where are the main dark masses? Where does the headband cut across the forehead? Once those large shapes are correct, then a few smaller strokes can make the hair feel alive. The anchor here is mass before strands. Do not panic if the hair looks unfinished for a while. Hair only starts to work after the big value groups are clear. Now I bring attention to the neck and shoulders. They are not the main focus, but they help the head feel believable. A floating head can make the portrait feel weak, even if the face is drawn well. So I look for the direction of the neck, the shadow under the jaw, and how the shoulders support the pose. I keep this area simpler than the face because I do not want it to compete for attention. This is an important design choice. Not every part of the drawing needs the same amount of detail. The face is the center of interest. The neck and shoulders are there to support it. Keep them clear, but do not overwork them. At this stage, I step back mentally and check the whole portrait again. This is where real improvement happens. I am not just adding more lines. I am asking better questions. Is the head too wide? Is the chin too long? Are the eyes sitting at the same angle as the reference? Is the mouth placed correctly under the nose? If something feels wrong, do not immediately erase everything. First, identify the problem. Is it a shape problem, a value problem, or an edge problem? This way, correction becomes less emotional and more practical. Beginners often think correction means failure. It does not. Correction is the drawing process. Every adjustment trains your eye. Now I add the final accents. This is not the time to make the whole drawing darker. It is the time to choose. I strengthen the eyes, the nostrils, the corners of the mouth, and a few edges around the face and hair. These small dark accents help the portrait feel finished, but I still leave some areas softer. Soft edges are just as important as hard edges. They let the face breathe. If you sharpen everything, the portrait becomes stiff. So the final stage is about control, not decoration. Ask yourself, where do I want the viewer to look first? Usually, the answer is the eyes and expression. Let the rest support that focus. If you followed along to the end, congratulations. You just completed a full portrait sketch study. It does not have to be perfect to be valuable. Every drawing trains your eyes to see proportions, values, edges, and structure more clearly. The most important lesson today is this: do not quit when the drawing looks awkward. Stay patient, compare the big shapes, correct slowly, and keep building. If you want to keep improving your portrait drawing, stay with me here. I will keep sharing calm, beginner-friendly lessons you can follow at your own pace. Like this video, subscribe, and I will see you in the next portrait lesson.